Two. 6:59.
We are back in session at 6:59. There was no action taken. I will now entertain a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation to enter into executive session according to 1 MRSA State Statute 405 6A to discuss personnel. May I have a motion?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to enter into executive session. Is the discussion? Hearing none, we will move to vote. All of those in favor? Opposed? And the motion is carried, and we are in at 7 o'clock. 7:15.
That was me.
This is for me. 7:15.
Yeah, not right there.
Yeah, I know. And we are back in session at 7:15. I will now entertain a motion to direct the superintendent to schedule a teacher dismissal hearing pursuant to 20A MRSA Section 13202. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to ask the superintendent to schedule a teacher dismissal hearing. Is the discussion? Hearing none, we will move to vote. All of those in favor? Opposed? And the motion is carried unanimously. I will now entertain a motion to approve the October 1st, 2025 school board meeting minutes as written. May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of October 1st. Is there discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. All of those in favor? Opposed? And the motion is carried unanimously. Communication, Mr. Downing.
I have the following communication. Gifted and talented building level coordinators, $1,000 stipend each. At Madanoncook Academy would be Ashton Carmichael. At Madanoncook Junior High School, Jessica Carmichael. And at EPB, Colleen, thank you, and Ellen Stevens, a shared stipend. Winter coaches at Madanoncook Junior High School. A boys basketball is Ryan Libby. B boys basketball is PJ Stanley. A girls basketball is Frank Welch. B girls basketball is Wink Libby. Girls basketball volunteer Bill McCarthy. And cheering is Laura King. At Madanoncook Academy, varsity girls basketball is Pat House. JV girls basketball is Jackson Weatherby. Varsity boys basketball, Adam Mahaney. JV boys basketball, Brett Crocker. Cheering, Carly Propley. Wrestling head coach, Matt Lindsay. And wrestling assistant coach, Dominic Libby.
Thank you. We'll now move on to committee reports. Policy Committee, Diana.
Thank you, Mrs. Buck. We met 10/8/25 at 5 p.m. We had a review, we went over a discussion of just cell phone and other electronic policy. We had a good discussion. We had several administrators there. We had several parents, and we all just had a great discussion. We got some surveys from Mr. Downing of the cell phone use from last year or whenever it was, and we're going to be going over those and looking at other policies from different schools. We'll come back. The next meeting will be Wednesday, November 12th at 5 p.m. in the library, and we'll be going over what we saw for parents' comments on those surveys, and like I said, looking at the other schools' policies. There's several that have banned phones. some that haven't, and we'll be possibly changing our policy. So that was pretty much it, and we adjourned at 6:12 p.m. that evening.
Thank you.
Question, Diane? Can I was just looking at the chair to get her.
Yes.
I was just curious, sorry. I was just curious because, can you tell me what the correct process is to, because I think there was a couple of us that asked for JCA to be on the agenda or just to be reviewed, or if we could.
We just haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay, so you will at some point.
It's in the back burner there, whatever. This was more important at this point.
Well, I think it's really important because of the funding that might be attached to it. So that, and I'm going to be off the board after tonight. This is my last meeting. However, before I go, I do feel that's important. It's important to the community. And I'm not saying the majority votes to keep it like it is, that's fine. But just maybe because circumstances have changed now since the initial Title IX information. So I was just curious about that. Thank you very much.
Now we move on in our agenda to a part that is always interesting when we hear from our student representatives. And Jake, as the senior representative, would you begin, please?
Thank you. So the first thing that I had was that new NHS members were handed out their letters and roses last Friday. And the last, in the induction ceremony is next Wednesday, October 22nd. And the senior paintball trip was today. I was able to attend it, and most people that I spoke to were enjoying the opportunity to get out and have fun as a class. The MJHS Student Council has planned a Red Ribbon Spirit Week for October 27th through 31st, which aims to emphasize drug-free lifestyles. The junior high food pantry was also chosen to benefit from proceeds of purchases at Hannaford Fights Hunger Bags at the Lincoln store. The Ella Burrs Math and Literacy Night for its students was very successful, drawing 81 families. And also at the Ella Burrs, State Senator Mike Tipping will be visiting third graders on October 29th to teach them about the legislative process. And that's the end of my part.
Ray?
Field hockey won their homecoming game on October 3rd against Central and went on to beat them on the road on the 10th. Both games were won 2-0. Game scorers in both games were Lacey Felix and Gray Freeman. The MA field hockey team had a bad run of 79 games lost from 2018 to 2025. Tonight was the last game of the season and senior night, a tough game to close out on. Football, as well as cheerleaders, had their senior night last Friday, and the student theme was blackout. Girls soccer has their senior night against Fulton tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And boys soccer has their senior night this Friday against Dexter, also at 4 o'clock. Golf places 10th at States on October 11th. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Our student representatives are a vital asset to a school board. And regarding students, I'd like to follow their report with a thought for all of us. In the 3 buildings that house RSU 67 and its students, there are many of them, just like these 2. And they are our future, yours and mine. They're our future electricians, teachers, lawyers, plumbers, doctors, and yes, even our politicians. They deserve and must have the very best preparation that we can possibly give them. This is our job, and they deserve nothing less. There's always going to be conflict and discussion and arguments regarding policies, procedures, and the latest hot topic issues. But in the final analysis, those things don't matter. They don't matter at all, for they will be replaced with yet other issues and other arguments. What does matter are these students and their future. We need to be always conscious of the preparation we're providing. I know what my job is, and I know why I'm here. I hope that my fellow board members can say the same. Thank you. Now, moving on to the superintendent's report.
I have a few points to bring up tonight. First of all is the September financials. You all should have a copy in your packet. We are in good shape as far as our percentages that we have used so far. We're looking good, going into the month of October as well as November. So things are looking good. You also should have in your packet the preliminary enrollment figures. These are, now they're not preliminary. They are the ones that will be reported to the state. We have to do that. It's part of the reporting that districts have to do. Last year on October 1, 2024, we had 943 total students. This year we have 911. We have 38 superintendent agreements where students are coming to 67. We have 33 that go to other districts. Last year those numbers were 52 coming into the district and 27 going out. Currently we have 110 homeschoolers. Last year we had 64. So we will be submitting those numbers to the Department of Education. A couple really good points that I'm happy to report tonight is one is from the Ella P. Burr School. They received a donation from the Charleston Church that donated winter coats for our kids. And the Knights of Columbus donated $500 towards our Scholastic Book Fair. So that was, we always are willing and happy to accept donations. Then at the Madinock Junior High School, the food pantry was chosen by Good Shepherd Food Bank for a $500 grant to purchase personal care items for our students. The Madinock Junior High School did not apply for the grant, but there was support from the Good Shepherd Food Bank to donate that grant so our kids can have some personal products purchased for them. And at this point, I will turn this over to Heather Rockwell, our curriculum coordinator, for an update.
I've tried to count out. There's 3 there.
wanted to give a quick curriculum update. This is a curriculum review proposal for this upcoming year. Every year in May, April, May, we have spring verticals where teachers get together to do a curriculum review, and we do a curriculum adjustments. Based on some feedback and based on some things, I wanted to put forth this proposal for this year to be a little bit more intensive than it has been the last 2 years since the last time our curriculum standards were approved. So I'm just going to read through the goals and give the timeline. First, I want to gain feedback from all stakeholders, so expanding our stakeholder group. We want to update our curriculum documents and make sure our updated resource lists are done. And we want to work on making sure our current record of purchase curriculum, we have a list of curriculum that we purchase on a regular basis, but we want to just make sure that that is current and updated as appropriate. So the action steps along with this, and I'm just sharing, is starting, it's already started, but October to December, we're reviewing curriculum documents. Our November verticals, at a vertical meeting, is we have one representation from each grade level that is there to talk about their content. We do K-5 and 6-12, just because getting subs, it's much easier, it makes more sense to do it that way. So in November, when we meet, we will do a curriculum review there with teachers. Then December and starting in November, what I'd like to do is have community stakeholder focus groups of 10 people, no more than 10, because I want to give opportunity for community to have conversation. And I think once you start to get more than 10, it's a little bit hard to have conversation. But continuing focus groups from November to January until those numbers, until everybody has an opportunity to provide feedback. There's classroom observations as part of it to look at what is in curriculum documents and then what is being enacted as well, with the idea that by February, March, with the education committee and with the teachers, that there'll be a draft of all of those content areas again to share that have the content area standards as well as resources being used. So in April and May, when the teachers get together for their spring verticals, all of those documents will be ready and then can come to the board in June, July for those published approval and put back on the website. I also just wanted to remind you currently what's on the website. We have it on our district site, and then each school has those curriculum standards that were adopted in 2023 by grade level and by content area. So it's a matter of looking at those and then adjusting accordingly. So the other piece that is not on this timeline, that is part of a year-long that we do every year, we just finished, or in the midst of finishing our fall round of testing, is we'll examine all of our testing data and look at it in conjunction with our curriculum to look at alignment there as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
And then at this time, would also like to call up Principal Lucas Turner to give an update on the AP results from the 24-25 school year. Lucas?
Good evening, everybody. Lucas Turner, resident of Lincoln, principal of MA. I missed the library. I'm going to start with that. It's a little easier to present. So behind you, if you want to look behind you, or on the TV over here, I guess, are the slides that I made for tonight. So 24-25 school year AP results. So we had biology, computer science principles, English language composition, physics, and psychology. We had 37 students take those tests. And out of those 37, we had 13 that got a 3 or higher, which, if we look at the graph down bottom, is the percentage of students who got a 3 or higher, and last year was the most in a 5-year period. So it's trending in the right direction at 35%. We do what's called AP for all. We do not restrict students or test them to take an AP test. We invite everybody to take AP testing. So when you look at state data, there are other schools who do restrict the students that take AP, and therefore their statistics obviously would be a little bit So that's 24, 25. There we go. All right. So this one I'm not going to get in the weeds too much. I'm just going to go class to class. So biology last year, 2 students got a 3. We averaged. Hey, could you blow that up just a little bit, Jason? My eyes are good, but not everybody. There we go. All right. So we got a 1. So we averaged a 188 there. Calculus we didn't do last year. That's good, Jason. Don't got to do that. Computer science principles we did do. Historically, this has been one of the better tests at MA. As you can see on the chart there, if you follow 3s and 4s from 2021, 22, 23, and 24, we had quite a few students who passed. Only 2 students chose to take the test last year, and both got a 2. So we didn't do as well on that test. Can we go to blue, Jason? Here we go. Here's the one we did really well last year, English language and composition. We had a total of 16 exams, and 10 students got a 3 or higher. So that's where most of our passing rate was. So if you get a 3 or higher, you get college credit. It's worth 3 credits in that course. Go down to the yellow, Jason. Physics, we had 8 students take it. Nobody received a physics credit. And if we go over to psychology, there we go. 3 students take it. We had 1 who got a 3 in psychology. So AP is definitely a different rigor than other courses. The wave I feel of the future is the next tab. I missed the library. Hold on. Here we go. All right, so we have 6 courses that we take at the college level. We have English 100 through University of Maine at Farmington. We have U.S. History through USM and EMCC. And we have Calculus and Pre-Calculus through CMCC. We had 54 students enroll in those, and all 54 received the college credit. That's 162 credits earned for free by students at MA last year. So this is the wave that we're going. We're pushing for more college courses instead of AP courses. AP has the rigor, but you got to pass the test at the end. These courses are syllabuses and courses by college professors given to our teachers that our teachers teach, tests that our teachers teach or administer, and they receive college credit if they get a C or higher. So this is the wave that we're going. Heather and I are researching how we can get psychology, physics, and those in, dropping the AP section, and going this route. So that's my view. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas.
That's my report.
All right, moving on to new business.
Don't we have a 7?
I will entertain a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation to authorize Andy Edwards, RSU number 67 facility director, to apply for the school revolving renovation funding for the Matanocook Academy vestibule project.
I so moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to authorize Mr. Edwards to apply for the school revolving renovation funding. Is there discussion? Hearing none, we will move to vote. All of those in favor? Opposed? And the motion is carried unanimously. I will now entertain a motion to accept the Policy Committee's recommendation to approve the second reading of Policy JLCB, immunization of students. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? It has been moved and seconded to approve the second reading of Policy JLCB. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. All of those in favor? Opposed? And that motion is carried unanimously. Number 3, I will entertain a motion to accept the Policy Committee's recommendation to approve the second reading of Policy JLCD, administering medication to students. May I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the second reading of Policy JLCD. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will move to vote. All of those in favor? Opposed? That motion is carried. Number 4, I will entertain a motion to accept the Policy Committee's recommendation to approve the second reading of Policy JLCD-E, permission to administer medication in school. May I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the second reading of Policy JLCD-E. Is the discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. All of those in favor? Opposed? And the motion is carried unanimously. Number 5,
Skylar Bard.
I will entertain a motion to allow Skylar Bard to attend the Northeast Golf Tournament. And this is in
Mohegan, Southern Connecticut.
Mohegan Connecticut, October 26th and 27th. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to allow Skylar Bard to attend the golf tournament in Connecticut. Is the discussion?
Normally, we have transportation, how they're getting there, money for the meals, the supervision, is the golf coach going? I understand, Dave, you just found out about this.
Just got the email from the NBA today.
So,
I've already been texting Ryan, the coach.
yep,
We're working on all that right now. I told Rose I'd get the hotel information to her as soon as tomorrow. So it's all in the works. I just got the email from the NBA while I was at the field hockey today. So it's
very good.
With not having another board meeting before it happens, we don't have all the details, but yes, we're planning all of that. Money for meals, all of that stuff.
Excellent.
Thank you and congratulations to Skylar. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we will move to vote. All of those in favor? Opposed? And that motion is carried unanimously. Under announcements, there will be an Operation Committee meeting on Tuesday, October 21st at 4 p.m. And I presume that's going to be here in the library?
Library, yes.
All right. And our next school board meeting will be Wednesday, November 5th at 6:30 p.m. And the policy committee meeting will be November 12th at 5 p.m. Please mark your calendars for these meetings. And at this point in our agenda, we would be pleased to hear from the public. Anybody who wishes to address the board would please approach the podium, introduce yourself, and tell us where you're from. I only have one sheet handed to me tonight. Andrew? Yes. Good evening.
Unfortunately, my friend Tim Bodner, who caused all the ruckus last time, he's dealing with a very sick wife, so he can't attend. But I'm here to talk about what is education, and in particular, by the Andrew Laverdier, Bangor, Maine. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
All right, so the picture I got here, this is Robert Moon. He was part of the Manhattan Project that developed nuclear science. That's right there, yeah. That's a real scientist. So anyways, since you all basically voted to become a bunch of drug dealers, I thought I'd quote one of the so-called philosophers of the World Economic Forum, Yuval Harari, that said, I think the biggest question in maybe economics and politics of the coming decades will be what to do with all these useless people. Problem is more boredom and what to do with them, and how will they find some sense of meaning in life when they are basically meaningless, worthless. My best guess at present is a combination of drugs and computer games as a solution for most. It's already happening. I think once you're superfluous, you don't have power. That's Yuval Harari, the approved philosopher of the World Economic Forum. And this is what you just voted for. It basically keep all these kids drugged up and quiet. So, in opposition to that, I used to work for Lyndon LaRouche, and he had a much different idea, which he says, the subject of a competent science is to be limited essentially and ultimately to the difference between what separates the human species from all other presently known living species. The simplest, efficient choice for setting a standard for this feature of the human species' existence will be the specifically willful expression of increased physically efficient power per capita, as that's uniquely characteristic of the human species, as through the means of effects of advancement in chiefly practiced chemistry, the power to increase the power per capita of the members of the human species through increasing the effective energy flux density supplied to the aid of the human will, as this may be measured per capita, which is a measurable standard for defining the meaning of human progress. And that's something Mr. LaRouche wrote called The Incompetence of 20th Century Science Education by LaRouche, which this guy typifies, since you just let him rant about LaRouche in your last meeting. So how do you feel? Basically, I mean, you should basically be with little crack bags out front selling it to the kids if you're going to vote to basically medicate these kids. I mean, did you think about it? I mean, you're going to let these Mengele types experiment on kids with experimental drugs? I mean, versus the potential we have of joining the BRICS nation and going into space, instead of these perpetual wars that are, people in Washington love to do. And as LaRouche says, this potential is the potential of mastery of the universe, in which the creative potential of the individual mind is sovereign. At the same time, this sovereign individual creative potential is in what I have previously described as an unmeditated efficient relationship to the universe by the following steps. First of all, if every human mind is engaged in fruitful creative activity, according to the principles of creative reason, as my friends here are discussing, or as one of our wonderful presidents expressed when he said everybody has a right to a fruitful life, productive life, free from fear. And by acting upon mankind's practice, we are acting upon the universe as a whole, past, present, and future. This, as I have said, is the individual, the sovereign creative power of reason in the individual unmediated relationship to universality. But why have you made the decision to basically take that away from these kids and say, well, we have a society of limited resources, the elite's got to have their share of the pie, and, well, we're going to drug you up? Do you feel happy? Are you happy that people are, threatening to shoot up or burn the school? I mean, are you happy about that? What's the status of that guy? I mean, has he been fired? I mean, when teachers say he wants to burn the school up, I mean, don't you picture all these other school shootings going on? Aren't you the tad bit worried about that? Are you? Nothing to say in your defense? Are you willing to go like to the Nuremberg trials to say, well, I was just following orders? Right? Is that going to be your defense, Mrs. Buck? We were just following orders. Somebody from the state told us to do it. Well, your silence condemns you. It's all right. Tim's going to be back next time, and he's going to give you guys help. So.
Thank you for your comment. Mr. Brady, you wish to speak this evening?
Bill Brady, here from Lincoln. I got 2 high schoolers and 1 child in LOP Burr, and I'm going to address you, Madam Chairman, and you, Mr. Downing, just like we talked about at your last policy committee, transparency and the fact that the public is losing trust. I mean, look about 2 months ago. We had more parents here then, and you had less board. Now you've got more board here, and we've got less parents here. You're losing faith in the community, and the community is completely losing faith in you guys. It's taking you this long to come up with, and still to sit there and tell us you still aren't going to make a decision yet on a teacher, that anywhere else in society, whether this was a student, if this was any of us at our jobs, or anywhere else, this would have been handled and reprimanded. You're teaching our children. They're coming to the teachers and complaining about something. You're telling them their voice doesn't matter. You're continuing to show them, and we're all wondering why, just like in the last 30 days, there was an assault here at school also, right? They get a slap on the wrist. The kids that did the sexual assault in January get a slap on the wrist and come back to school. You guys are setting the precedence that it doesn't matter. Therefore, if the kids are losing faith, parents are losing faith. You just read off your numbers for homeschooling. Homeschooling's almost doubled in a year. It would probably triple by next year, except for people like me that keep coming up here trying to tell parents, don't pull up kids out. That's letting everybody else win and put more strain on everybody else. Instead, parents need to be banding together and talking and saying, no, we want parents on board. We want people that have kids in the school system. We want our kids taught basic, simple educations that they're taught back in middle school and elementary. And as the principal was just talking about, some of the better stuff for college. You know, why aren't we talking more about that instead of these other things and allowing simple policies? You know, at your policy board, you were given some policies that were suggested by the parents. Today, you just read off policy readings for a vote. I was at the last policy board meeting. None of those things were read. None of those things were mentioned. The previous policy meeting was on YouTube. I watched that one. None of those things were brought up either. But you're sitting there voting in front of it right now to the parents. Where's the transparency? There's your problem with lack of trust. You're making votes on things that you guys might have talked about 2 months ago, or just some of you talked about in private. Do you think any of the parents in this school believe that this was talked about where they were sitting down? I know I've talked to the other parents. None of us were there during any of these meetings. I don't understand the medication thing. You guys should be more clear with that. I think 100%. Last school board meeting, you guys read and voted the use of Narcan. I don't think most of the audience knew that you guys were talking about Narcan. In my street life, I knew exactly what you were talking about. You guys voted for the use of Narcan. Do we have an overdose problem in this school that parents aren't aware of? I know there's a policy for the state for the school to have Narcan, but that's already a policy. So why is it being brought up? Medication. When we sign our kids into school at the very beginning of the first day, we sign paper, what medications are allowed, what medications are on. And we're supposed to take responsibility as parents, either give them that medication during the day before they go to school, or it's signed with the nurse to go that they can come get it here. What other medications are we talking about? Transparency, guys. You want us to support you and to believe that you really have our children's best interest and not to be as gung-ho as the crazy activist or the father that stands up there every single time telling you, I have zero faith in you guys, and nor do most of the parents. Help us help. Tell us something. You're telling us nothing about these policies that you're admitting and voting on. You sat there since the incident in September. We're almost at Halloween. That teacher stuff is still hanging up in his room. There's been no recommendation from you to address the parents and the public. Are you just trying to get us to pull the kids out? Because there's a lot of parents talking about doing that. I keep trying to argue with them, don't do it, because all you're gonna do is put more pressure on the parents that are trying to stand up and make the change in the school. Darcy, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brady. Tina McIntyre.
McIntyre, resident of Lincoln. I have 5 children in the district. I want to start by saying thank you, Mary, for bringing up Title IX. Shouldn't be put on the back burner. We're losing funding. We sit here and talk about how we're putting kids first, but are we? We're losing funding for Title IX. So thank you, Mary. That's it, Title IX. Policy committee, we should be meeting more. All of our policies, if you look at them, they need to be revamped. Policy committee should be meeting more. These need to be updated. Title IX should be at the forefront of all of your minds because it's funding for our students. So that's it.
Thank you, Tina. Chris.
Well, this is unusual, to say the least. Good evening. My name is Chris DeBeck. I am a resident of the city of Brewer, so I'm not a member of the district. I do have, I think, a vested interest. I've been employed at the Lincoln News since 1998, and I have no children in the district, so I can't, but I think I've covered some of your children through the years here. My question concerns the vestibule project. I know obviously there was a vote to approve to go to the state revolving fund. I just had a quick question because I didn't hear any discussion on it as far as, is there a number? I know a number of 450,000 was mentioned last time. Is that part of the application process or is it more open-ended? I don't know if this is a question that can be answered, but I didn't know how else to ask it, so I ask it here. And those are the end of my remarks. I have no fancy pyrotechnics or anything to conclude on. So.
Thank you, Chris, for your remarks. Mr. Davis.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Bill Davis, Taylor Street in Lincoln. Several brief comments, I hope. The first is that I have always and continue to fervently support participation of parents and other interested townspeople in school board and school activities. So. And I've been glad the last 2 or 3 meetings to see some representation, although I think previous speaker's probably right that it's declining again. But I mean, so anyway, the second is that the always accurate Lincoln News advertised at the top of page 1 in very large, bold print that at tonight's meeting, the superintendent would present a report of the recent and current controversies involving the high school. And obviously, you're going to do what you need to do, but just point out that we're disappointed, or at least I'm disappointed. I mean, the previous speaker's right that the length of time that these situations require in a bureaucratic institution is really concerning. From DC apparently right on down to 67. Okay, at the last meeting, I made some comments about some thoughts I had about policies for public speaking. And I just, tonight coming in, picked up public comment at board meetings. Speaking of BEDH, policy, BEDH. And I realized that actually everything I said at the last meeting is in your policies, or at least is in an old policy, which again, I don't know if this is still in effect or not, but I want to read your policy back to you briefly. Number 3B, speakers are expected to follow rules of common etiquette and decorum, and refrain from engaging in disruptive conduct, including but not limited to using vulgar and or obscene language, yelling, threatening others using words by any other actions, making defamatory comments, exceeding the allotted time limit, talking over or interrupting others, offering repetitive comments, and offering comment on matters unrelated to the district's program, policies, and operations. Relevant to the district's programs and policies for this committee. 3F, the board chair will stop any public comment that is contrary to these rules. 3G, individuals who disrupt a board meeting may be asked to leave in order to allow the board to conduct board business in an orderly manner. The board chair may request the assistance of law enforcement if necessary to address disruptions or safety concerns. I think these pretty much say it and are actually pretty good. So you might think among yourselves as to whether this is still the desired policy for these meetings. And if so, then authorize the chair to really, honest to God, enforce them to keep it moving and to not waste your time and also not waste my time. The parents who come to talk in a reasonable way about honest to God serious issues deserve the time, not other people with different agendas and also many, Chris not excluding, people who aren't even from and have no connection to this district. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Davis. That closes the sheets I have been given tonight. Was there anyone who wished to speak who did not have an opportunity? Then I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. And we are adjourned at 8:04.
Vote, we all vote, yeah.
Thank you.
Did you want us to vote on it?